Hi, welcome to Seed Works. On this one, the 50 gets a facelift. Much needed. Looks a lot better. Let's go. Check it out. She's back on the ground. I drove it yesterday. I love this car. This thing looks so mean with its stance and its wheels and everything else now. Now I want to fix a few things that like bug me. I want to critique it a little bit. Um, Starting with the face of this thing. I need to fix a few things that just bother me. I'm sure a lot of people don't notice it, but I notice it, and I think I have ways of making it better. Let me show you what I got going on. Now, some of you may not agree with me on this, but with I don't know, it's got more of a sporty look to it. I don't think I like these anymore. I think I want to take these off. And I don't know if I really like how much the front bumper sticks out, so I might kind of want to tuck it in and kind of make it fit the fender line a little bit better. But I don't know if I'm going to have butcher up that chrome and not be able to make it match again. It's going to be a little bit of a struggle. But I know that this side here actually got hit at some point or ran over something before me. You can kind of see, well, maybe you can't, but there's scratches on the bottom of it, and it tweaked the bumper up ever so slightly. So this side just goes whoop. So I gotta take this guy apart and tweak it ever so slightly. There's three pieces to this bumper. There's a middle, it pieces together right there. And when I section, like I don't know, I'm rambling, but if I do decide to suck it in, I might have to TIG weld it back together there, and take a section out there, and then flip that. I don't know. It might be a whole process. We'll see um, once I get that going. But to start that off, I need to get some more lag bolts because I think those are regular bolts. So even if I don't decide to tuck it, I need to replace those bolts with some lag or button head bolts. I don't even know what you call them, but they're those guys. But that one's junk. That one doesn't look so good. So I'm gonna see if I can run to the hardware store and see if they have some stainless options that I can use. Another thing that bothers me is so uh, she looks like she's cold with the amount of stick out that we got going on there. I don't like it. It bothers me. Granted that this type of LED headlight that I got going on here, which is meant for like Jeeps and stuff like that, it sticks out more than if you were to buy like a regular halogen. Normally it would be kind of flush with this trim ring, and then it wouldn't be so bad, but still that kind of sticks out a lot. What I want it flush. Like I want this line to continue down and just go in one smooth motion. You see what I'm saying? So I think that if we can tear this apart, look at the bucket, maybe section the bucket and extend it out ever so slightly in order to make it one flush unit, she won't look like she's trying to get attention anymore, Like just boop. That's what she's doing. Again, something that probably most people don't notice, but I notice it and it completely bothers me. So let's get going on that. I'm gonna take that guy off. I'm gonna run to the hardware store quick, see if I can find a solution for that. Let's pull that thing off and just see how it looks, see if I like it, and then maybe just tweak it for now instead of like sectioning and cutting it and ruining the patina chrome. So yeah, let's get to it. Got that front bumper guard off, and I like it so much better. I don't mind how much it sticks out, to be honest with you. So I'm gonna leave it alone. I'm just gonna bolt this guy back on after. I'm gonna attempt to twist this guy a little bit so that this fits a little bit more flush on this side. And if not, I can make like an L bracket that kind of comes off this bolt and then pushes down up against here to make sure that it stays that way. Because the only way that it bolts up right now is just two brackets that come off the frame rails because of how much cutting off of the whole frame that I had to do in the front of there. The carriage bolts, though, so I went and got a bunch of new ones, $75 later, so that's cool. It's not a square notch like these guys are. It's just a regular circle one, so I got to figure out either if, I'll just round off the carriage. No, because then you can't bolt it up. Dang it! So I gotta somehow make a square out of a round hole in order for those carriage bolts to catch. I'll probably paint these guys silver, but I'm gonna clean this thing up really well too. Scotch Brite or not Scotch Brite, but some 000 steel wool, some WD-40, and that'll be looking right again. And then yeah, paint these guys silver, bolt this guy back up, and we'll call that good. I got a bucket out, one headlight right now, and they are pretty decent shape for being 74 years old. I'm gonna strip this guy down, clean this guy up, and I think my plan is so we can take the adjusters out and then re-rip them back in along with a spring. I need to sink it back, right? So if I section this and then move it out, put something to fill it in between there, weld it back together, paint it, I think that's going to work just fine. I might have to do a little bit of trimming so that this can fit deeper inside of there because it's really tight where it screws in. I don't think that's going to be an issue at all. So I like that idea. Let me clean this guy up and just cut it up because, why not? Let's see if it'll work. I've got updates. So front bumper is on. I'm going to leave it this way for now. It fits really good. I like how it kind of pulls out. I spent way too much time wet sanding it with WD-40 and I went 1,000, 1,500, and then 2,000, and then I hit it with some like metal polish over and over and over again until it brightened it up quite a bit so that you can't really see like where the guard was before. It kind of blends in. And then I've got all the stainless steel carriage bolts in there. I think that looks pretty dang good. And I bent it back down, like that side was up probably about a good 3/4 to an inch higher than what it was. Like it was tweaked up like that. So I stuck it in my vise and I just put my body weight on it until it straightened it out. But I like the way that this looks now. I'm going to leave this alone. It cleans up the front end a lot, focuses on the grill a lot more. So that's neat. Also, I'm working on the bucket now. I'll show you my plan with that. So it's cleaned up as good as it's going to be. I think this is going to be a MIG weld job because of how old and kind of pitted this guy is. It's not like terrible, but it's not like TIG weldable, I don't think. We're gonna do it down and dirty. My plan is I'm gonna cut this guy off right here, like right in the middle, section it out, and that's where my extension is gonna be. So let me get to that and then figure out how far that this needs to be, and I'll make up some tabs, and I'll start just piecing the thing back together, and then hopefully everything clears, which it probably won't, and so that should sink the headlight back in there. The good, I don't know, what is it, an inch and a quarter that it needs to be. I need to measure it out, obviously. So if not, I got a 51 that's outside that I can steal the buckets off of if I screw this up too bad. So it should be all right. Let me get to cutting. Let me get to figuring out what this guy needs to be. 1 inch. That's how much I needed. Measured it out and I actually took some 1-inch strap and then I just kind of bent it up and then cut it in sections and then I just tack-tigged it together and I kind of mocked it all up. And look at how much more flush that is now with the lens to the trim ring. And I know you're like, what's that? Well, it's a big gap. What do you need with that gap? Got some weather stripping here. That is the exact size that'll fit in there. So I'll wrap the headlight with that. Then when that's cinched down, that'll seal that off nicely. Just a black seal. But that is so much better than that. That's awesome. Okay, I'm gonna finish weld that guy up, paint it, and then take the other side apart and do the exact same thing. Got both headlight buckets pretty much all set, ready to go to be thrown in. Hindsight being 2020, I should have, like where the adjusters mount, I should have cut it flush here and then left that piece in there because that's what kind of holds that guy steady right there. It was kind of difficult to get the spring around it and then kind of get that bucket down in the bucket. Does that make sense? In order for it to rest in there, because those adjusters were kind of a pain in the butt to get in there. It all needed a little bit of trimming in order to slide down in just ever so slightly. Same thing with this bezel that holds on the headlight itself. A lot of this had to be trimmed back, but I got it to get in there. It's really tight. Like it's rubbing, but once it's in there, it ain't going anywhere, and it's going to hold the headlight in nice and sturdy. I've got the gaskets that actually came off here are in still really good shape, but I'm going to clean those up. I'm going to clean up this area here, and then we can go ahead and assemble this, see how it looks. I like this so much better than the way it was before. Huge pain in the butt to get it assembled and in because everything is so tight. But as you can see, it's together, and look at how flush this is now. It looks correct. That's what I like. And I use that gasket around the side here because the gasket that was inside the ring that's like clipped in was just it was gone. Like you could just crumble it apart with your fingers. So this will do for now. I'd like to find that gasket again because there is still a little bit of a gap right there. So I think if I can find that, put that back on there, that'll help out a lot. And I used to have two huge dents. You can kind of see where that one was. There and there from, I don't know if the hood came down weird or something, or somebody unbolted it in the back and it came down and hit, but I tried to bang those out as best as I could. It just looks way better. So now this looks correct to me. Like it doesn't look, custom. It just looks like this is the way it was supposed to be anyway. Yeah, I'm digging that a lot. That was a lot of work, but I think totally worth it and totally possible because you're looking at it. There we go, you guys. A day's worth of work, but the front end is looking correct. Those buckets were a huge pain in the butt in order to get everything assembled and in where they needed to be. But I'm digging. I'm digging the front end of this thing a lot better than what it was before. If you guys made it this far in the video, I really appreciate it. Hit that like, hit the subscribe. Got a lot more coming up. Thanks, guys.